First 3 minutes looked pretty promising, but it sort of went south pretty quickly after that, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a strange game. We were able to turn the ball over. A lot of the stuff we planned for. I remember looking at the stats halfway through the third quarter. We were winning the inside 50s. We were well in front in contested possessions, winning the front half turnovers, and we were 70 points down. And it shows how potent they were in front of goal and how well they defended. If you look at the inside 50 count, until the last few minutes we were in front, and I think they went at 88% scores per entry in the second quarter, and we were in the teens. So their potency and the system that they use and how well drilled they are taught us a bit of a lesson today.
So marks were a big issue. I think they finished plus 56, and also a lot in their defensive half as well. Just really sort of a case of keeping us off a bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, as the game got away from us, they were happy to control the ball and keep it off us, and we were in a difficult position. We had to rob Peter to pay Paul. We had to solidify our defence a little bit, so we tried a couple of ways to help our defenders by adding an extra player or changing some personnel, but their potency going forward was too much, and so if we tried to help the defensive 50, then they got it there too often. Really, we were taught a lesson. They're a very, very good side. They're in the top couple of teams in the competition for a reason, and I looked at our pressure and the effort, and the contest was actually okay for us, but they will just put enormous amount of pressure on us. Their tackle numbers, their pressure numbers, no matter what we produced, they were able to produce a bit more, and we just couldn't withstand their heat today.
Does that concern you a bit more, Sam, in any way, or does it make you feel...
Sorry, I missed the start of that.
Does it concern you more that you're able to match them or exceed them in some of those areas, but you're still so far behind?
No, I don't think so. I think that's... the positive is that we won some... it wasn't a lack of supply that killed us. If we had have conceded 65 entries and we just was an avalanche that we couldn't withstand, that's a more challenging problem. Potency in front of the ball, contest in front of the ball, really hurt us today. That and their potency going forward. I think they might have only taken 15 marks inside 50, and they are notoriously good at that. So we restricted that one area, but they just found a way to score far too easily, and we fueled a lot of their game, the way that we turned the ball over, the way that we played at different stages without, an extra handball here or looking for something a bit too perfect there, just fueled their pressure, and they were able to put us to the sword.
You said a few times that you hoped the team was past these kind of performances, and the margin is quite large again. I think the average margin is $7 this year. How concerning is that for you, that sort of still losing by pretty hefty margins this year?
The margin is worse than the Gold Coast game, but I think I looked at today's game. If you watched it without a scoreboard, you would have said the Brown and Gold boys are having a crack. They're really putting a lot of pressure on the opposition, and sometimes a handball, like our handball inefficiency, was really poor today. We fueled their pressure, but I thought we were able to put them under some pressure and get some turnovers that they wouldn't have been too happy with. But we didn't hurt them, so we had a lot of shots on goal, and that could have got momentum in our favour, and we just weren't able to get pressure on them on the scoreboard, and then they got the game on their terms. So despite the margin being bigger than the Gold Coast game, I think it was a better performance than that. And for those who watched those two games, today was a better performance despite the scoreboard.
First time this year where conversion has been a bit of an issue as well. Is that something you're looking at, or is that just a byproduct of the way the ball was moving so quickly?
Yeah, we talked about maybe we should train it less, because I feel like we can't train it more. We do so much goal kicking, and I'm looking at some other teams who are kicking phenomenally well, and their goal kicking routines. I think all of our players, they got their routines, they go back and they kick the way that they do at training, and we've put an enormous amount of work into it, and the results aren't there. So whether it's the pressure of the game or something else, I'm not sure, but it's certainly not an area that we're putting aside and saying it's not something to worry about, because if we had have taken our chances early in this game, there was a period of the game where we were thereabouts, and they took their chances and we didn't, and then the game just keeps getting further and further away.
One of those chances was Marble Joel giving away a goal. How did you assess his game? overall, Sam?
I think, well, Marb's at his best. We know that he's a fantastic competitor, and his physical prowess and strength and consistency of when he's on is really helpful for us in front of the ball. And like anyone, if you're not at your best and you second guess and you don't react quickly enough, then you're second to the ball. And then when you're against a side as good as Sydney, you get exposed. So I think they took a lot of intercept marks, and they were able to clean the ball up from half back far too easily today. And I thought collectively our front half didn't function as well as we would like, and Marbs is obviously a part of that. Disappointing the one that he gave away. To be honest, I mean, I thought Blake helped us in the front half, and then we ended up having to move him back because of their potency in front of goal. But that would have been a nice one to get for us instead of giving one back to them.
Dylan Moore seemed to have a real crack in terms of leadership, and as you were speaking about in terms of momentum and trying to arrest it. What did you make of the rest of the leadership team?
I mean, I think Dylan is playing his role and he's performing as well as can be expected of someone in his position. You know, I think he had 5 score assists today, so he wasn't able to hit the scoreboard himself, but he was really helpful in front of the ball. And I think, you know, he's one of a few guys who you just know is going to play the right way and is going to be consistent in his application and his effort, and the standard that he holds himself to is first class. And the challenge for all of our leaders is, can we hold all of us to a standard that, and Sydney showed us what that looks like when you get it right, that the standard that we hold ourselves to needs to be at a higher level on a consistent basis, and Dylan's one of the guys who is going to help us drive that in the future.
Do you get Mitch Lewis back next week? Obviously you're hoping this week.
Yeah, I mean, I woke up this morning. It's never a great phone call when the physio rings you at, it's probably about 10 o'clock or so this morning, saying I don't think Mitch is going to get up for today. So, you know, I woke up this morning thinking that he was playing. So obviously he didn't recover well from training, and he's just not feeling confident enough in it. So he'll have another scan tomorrow, I think, and we'll make an assessment of whether it's something that is going to be we're just a couple of days away, or whether it's longer than that. I really don't know at this point.
Is Chad Wingard far away? Do you get through okay today?
I mean, I haven't. Their game was still going sort of when we started, but I sent him a message saying looked sharp. He only played the first half, and he kicked a couple of goals, and he had a vibrancy and a look about him. But I mean, he's still on quite limited minutes, and I mean, I was rapt that he was able to play. It was not a great morning for the club with Sam Butler. He broke his leg in pretty horrific circumstances, so all of our thoughts go out to him. That happened just sort of before this game, so you know, he's going to have some surgery tomorrow and he'll be out for the season. So there's an enormously challenging time in front of him. But you know, a lot of players miss a lot of footy in this game, and you know, it's his turn, and we'll make sure we look after him and wrap our arms around him and those things. But it's a really difficult time for Sam Butler and his family.
Buddy was back in Hawthorn colours today and yesterday. Can you talk us through sort of what role he played yesterday, speaking to your group?
I mean, I think it was actually interesting for myself and a couple of, you know, David Hale and Jack Gunston, a couple of like that. It was a you know, you're meeting a guy that you used to play footy with and you might not have seen for a while, and it's just one of the boys. But to a lot of our younger players, they were completely overawed by just his presence and how he went about it. And he was great that he came out to the club and brought his family and spoke to the players about his journey and how he got to become what we all saw of the Lance Franklin. But he actually told some stories about how he built that and how hard he had to train and some of the setbacks that he went through, and the persistence that was required and the support network around him, and all those sort of behind the scenes things of what build, you know, the facade that we all see from the external. So it was great to have him, and you know, rapt that he was able to come back to the MCG and be around Hawthorn as well as obviously Sydney, his 2 clubs that are icons of.
Just take one more.
Will Dade comes back today, Sam. He had 7 touches in the first quarter, finishes with 11. In that last quarter, though, he had a really nice moment where he spun around, was able to kick low in the eyes and pick out a target. What do you make of Dade's return?
I mean, I think Will's he's a great player, really important player for us, and I sometimes when you get someone like that back, you think it's panacea that the club needs, and I think he's an important player for us, and you know, he'll get better and continue to improve. And as expected, he wasn't absolutely perfect today, but I was really pleased that he got through the game. He pulled up well. He was talking after the game about things that we need to improve in his game understanding, and those areas, is really helpful for us. He's going to be a great long-term player for us. So to get him back out there and back working with the midfield, I thought that area of the game looked a bit better today. We're able to win clearances, win centre bounces. So there was a couple of things that went right. Obviously, the first 3 bounces, centre bounces of the last quarter, all went to an intercept mark, and that summed up a few of our problems that we had today.